We are Year 2 Bachelor of Science in Nursing students who are looking to educate and provide resources for improving mental well-being within the community. So I'm Shania.
My name is Sophia.
My name is Kayla.
And my name is Katrina.
Firstly, we're going to talk about self-compassion and self-esteem.
So compassion means to have concern for someone else, which means that self-compassion means being warm and understanding towards ourselves when we suffer, fail, or feel inadequate. Self-esteem means to have a sense of self-worth and value. Understanding your self-worth and growing self-esteem helps us to be kind and compassionate to ourselves. The difference between self-compassion and self-esteem is that self-esteem is a personal view of our own self-worth, and it's based on our own judgment. Self-compassion is a way of relating kindly to ourselves and accepting yourself for who you are, flaws and all. Self-compassion is a healthy way of growing self-esteem.
So, self-compassion begins with being kind to yourself and your emotions, having empathy for what you are going through, and having compassion for yourself when you make mistakes. People have a natural urge to be harsh with themselves, but you cannot always believe what your mind is telling you, especially when your mind is being unkind. The second component of self-compassion is recognizing common humanity. Common humanity is the belief that no matter what you are going through, there are others in the world that are going through something similar. If you can allow yourself to feel compassion for someone else, you should hold that same understanding for yourself. Through common humanity, you can recognize the shared human experience is imperfection and that you are never alone in your suffering. The third component of self-compassion is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is focusing on your awareness of your present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting your feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. This allows you to acknowledge your suffering in the present moment and identify your emotions. Examples of mindfulness practices include meditation, deep breathing, journaling, and pausing in the moment to acknowledge your feelings.
Self-esteem is important for mental wellness because it gives a person a sense of belonging and purpose in the world. When we build up our self-esteem, we aim for a better, more fulfilling life and are better able to cope with emotional stressors.
There are some strategies that you can use to support your self-esteem and self-compassion. So this includes reflection on what you admire or like about yourself, recognizing the moments that you have felt proud of yourself, focusing on the things you can change, spending time with people who make you happy and support your goals. It also involves taking the time to do what you enjoy, so doing some self-care practices such as creating art, playing music, reading books, playing games, and working to maintain your physical and mental health through exercise, hygiene practices, spending time with friends, practicing self-reflection and appreciation. You can show yourself compassion rather than criticism. Another strategy is to volunteer to help others and to have an openness to forgive. Part of self-care is looking after your health. So some ways you can look out for your health during COVID-19 include social distancing, hygiene practices such as hand washing, showering, and cleaning your personal items or items that are shared regularly within the Gospel Mission. You could also wear a mask if you're socializing with others within a 2-meter distance. These practices will support your health by minimizing the spread of coronavirus.
So when you create self-compassion and self-esteem, it's important that you don't compare your successes to someone else's. Celebrate your small successes, whether it's getting up for the day, practicing self-control, or simply learning from your own mistakes. It's important to know that seeking help is never a sign of weakness.
Here's an activity that you can practice to grow your self-worth and self-esteem. So if possible, you could pause this video. Otherwise, maybe try to practice this after the video has been completed. So this activity includes naming 10 things that you like or love about yourself. If anyone is unable to name 10 things about yourself that you like, try to help each other out. So get some of your friends to name some of these things that they like about you. And afterwards, reflect on how this exercise made you feel. So if it was challenging or maybe if it was easy. This could be something that you could do each day to improve your self-esteem. The more you try this exercise, the easier it may become to name 10 things or more that you genuinely like about yourself.
Next, we wanted to talk about emotional regulation and how that helps your mental health. So what exactly is emotional regulation? It's having an awareness and understanding of our emotions and their impact on our behaviors. It's our ability to manage our emotions in a positive way. It's generally used to describe our ability to manage and respond well to an emotional experience. All of us feel and experience emotions, both negative and positive, each and every day. For some, though, these emotions can be overwhelming. The purpose of our conversation here is to discuss how to help ourselves with managing strong emotions when we feel overwhelmed. We are not just talking about anger management, we're also talking about how to recognize other emotions, such as sadness, guilt, and so on, and to find out where they are coming from and figure out ways to control them.
Our ability to regulate emotions not only prevents arguments or aggression with others, it also helps to prevent negative self-talk or poor coping strategies. Regulating our emotions can help us to calm down during times of high emotion, control negative urges and emotions during time of emotional distress, preventing depression, aggression, and other emotional states or behaviors that could be dangerous to yourself or to others. It allows us to pursue personal goals and positive relationships. And lastly, it is also important for the development of self-compassion and good mental health.
So, what does it look like when you have healthy emotional regulation? Those with healthy emotional regulation skills are able to experience, express, and manage a wide range of emotions in a positive way. They can engage in good behaviors in response to emotional situations. They adjust well to change. They can deal with their frustration, and they become more emotionally strong. Emotional strength refers to the ability to adapt to stressful situations or crises. More resilient people are able to roll with the punches and adapt to adversity without lasting difficulties. Less resilient people have a harder time with stress and life changes. Emotional resilience is a skill that you can develop with practice.
Those with unhealthy emotional regulation skills may exhibit a limited range of emotions. They may have a hard time coping with stressful events, resulting in negative emotions like rage. They may have less social skills, struggle being successful in school and careers, and they don't respond well to highly emotional situations. People who regularly experience what feels like overwhelming, intense, negative emotions are much more likely to use unhealthy strategies.
People unconsciously use emotional coping strategies to cope with difficult situations many times throughout each day. Most of us use a variety of strategies and apply them to different situations. Some of these are healthy and some are not. Healthy coping strategies are those that do not cause harm to yourself or others. They can help us to diffuse strong emotions and often allow for a greater understanding of what led to the emotional experience in the first place. Unhealthy coping strategies are those that cause harm to yourself or others. These strategies may leave lasting physical or emotional damage and may lead us to avoid dealing with situations that will inevitably require a head-on solution. Examples of unhealthy coping strategies include self-harm or self-destructive behaviors, including substance abuse, ignoring the emotions we are experiencing and refusing to address negative thoughts, avoiding or withdrawing from difficult situations, outbursts of physical or verbal aggression, and isolating ourselves from others. On the other hand, some examples of healthy coping strategies include talking with friends or other trusted individuals, including counselors and therapists, going for a walk or exercising in general, writing in a journal, paying attention to negative thoughts that occur before or after strong emotions, taking care of yourself physically and mentally, and noticing when you need a break from a situation and being sure to take it. So here are some tips for regulating your emotions that we would like to offer you. First and foremost, take care of your physical and emotional needs by getting a good night's rest, eating healthily, and exercising your body. These practices help a person to feel satisfaction in life, and I think we have all noticed how much better we can feel after doing them. Taking care of yourself can make it much easier to overlook the little things that might have annoyed or upset us otherwise. The second tip I have for regulating your emotions is to practice activities that build a sense of achievement or joy within you. You can also attempt to pay more attention to the positive events in your lives or the things that you're grateful for. The things that bring us joy have been shown to lower negative moods and increase our positive outlook. So be sure to celebrate all your successes, no matter how small they may seem to you. The last tip I have is that changing the negative thoughts behind the situation will change the feelings you experience. Our thoughts play an important role in how we experience a situation. When you notice yourself becoming upset, try to identify the cause of your emotions. Ask yourself questions like, what is really pushing my buttons here? Why am I reacting so strongly? How important will this be tomorrow, or next week, or next month? Once you have identified your thoughts behind the emotions, try to prevent yourself from repeating these thoughts again in the future.
So how do you practice self-control? Let's say that someone says something really negative to you and you want to react, but to practice self-control, there are many ways that you can practice self-control to identify what works best for you. STOP is an acronym that you can use the next time that you're frustrated or angry, and it stands for stop, take a breath, observe, pull back, and practice what works. So to go a little more in depth into that, you can stop and pause for a moment. Take a breath, notice as you breathe in and out. Observe, what thoughts are you thinking? Where is your attention at? Why are you reacting to this? And what do you feel in your body right now? Pull back. It's time to get some more perspective in this situation. What's the bigger picture? Is there another way at looking at the situation? How important is this situation to you? Are you going to care about it in 6 months from now? And finally, practice what works best for you. What is the best thing that you can do for yourself right now? So just like stop, some additional skills include finding what works best for you. Do you need to step away and talk to someone? You can always grab a social worker and tell them how you feel. If you need to go for a walk and blow off some steam, go for the walk. Most importantly, to be able to regulate your emotions, you need to take care of yourself. This means eating right, getting enough sleep, drinking lots of water, and staying healthy. This winter, if you haven't received your flu shot yet, talk to your social worker and find out ways you can get this.
Self-control is important to emotional regulation. A method to help you regulate emotions can be nonviolent communication strategies. You are the one in control of your actions, so you can decide how you react to others. Here's some examples you all gave of how you already practice self-control. By looking at where I am and the effects of long-term drug use has on my life. I practice self-control by staying occupied, usually by doing art in any form, and learning to appreciate.
So, nonviolent communication helps you to understand the feelings and needs of your friends, family, and peers. By being clear with the other person, it helps with communication of feelings during stressful moments. The parts of nonviolent communication are making an observation, expressing your feelings, and saying what you need, and making a request. So we have a video example to demonstrate nonviolent communication. So while you're watching this video, look out for when the individual makes an observation. And when they do this, they might start with saying, when you. Also look for when they express their feeling. So they will state that I feel, and then however they feel. Also look for when they express their need. So they will state what they need. And when they make the request. So would you be willing to and do whatever their need was?
Good morning. Morning. Did you leave coffee in here again last night? But you know that when I come down here in the morning, I always want to make a cup of coffee, and when you leave it in here, I just wash the whole thing, and it makes me late for work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally did that to me 2 weeks ago and I was late for work.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I clean this out every single
Are
time.
you kidding me?
Every time. I never leave it. So this was obviously you.
When you talk to me like this, like when you're yelling at me, I I just get really overwhelmed and I'm not very receptive to your feedback right now, okay? And so I just need you to either talk to me about this later, or when you're more calmed down or something like that. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just didn't sleep well, but when you leave the coffee in the pot and then come down in the morning, I feel frustrated because now I'm behind because you couldn't clean it out when you were done using it. So maybe in the future, could you just rinse it out? Or if you come down in the morning, can you rinse it out before I need to use it? Because it just puts me behind having to clean this whole thing every morning.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, it's okay.
So in the video, one of the examples of nonviolent communication was when an observation was made. So the person said, "When you yell at me or talk to me like this." Then they expressed their feeling by stating, "I feel overwhelmed." They expressed their need when they said, "I need you to talk to me about this later or when you feel calmer." Then they stated their request by saying, "Would you be willing to talk to me later?"
In response to this, the observation was, when you leave the coffee pot unwashed. The feeling was, I feel anxious because I might be late for work. The need was to try and wash the coffee pot out after she's done using it. And I made a request, would you be willing to empty and wash the coffee pot when you were done using it? Next, we're going to talk about social support networks and how they affect your mental health. Social supports refer to the people you surround yourself with that help you cope with stress. These people could be friends, family, peers, coworkers, or any other community member that you have a trusting relationship with. Building up your social supports will improve your overall well-being and create a sense of belonging.
Building a healthy support system means you need to stay healthy yourself. During the pandemic, you can stay healthy by washing your hands frequently, wearing a mask, and doing your best to stay 2 meters away from your friends. Sneezing and coughing into your elbow and washing your hands afterwards will also help you and your friends to stay healthy and safe. If you would like a mask, you can request one from the coffee counter at the Kelowna Gospel Mission. Here's a fun reminder of how to keep the people who are part of your social network safe. If you can do your best to stay 1 caribou or approximately 1 person away from your friends, try to do this. This will help them to stay healthy in case you or your friend sneezes or coughs on one another. Again, try your best to wear a mask when around others to keep them safe.
One strategy to start meaningful conversations with others and grow your social support network is called Big Talk. This strategy involves skipping the small talk by asking more open and thoughtful questions to get to know someone. By asking these questions, you can better understand someone and connect with them early on in your relationship. Some of these questions would be, what gives you hope? What do you wish you did more? What is your earliest memory of achievement? What do you want to do before you die? And how do you show others that you care about them? These questions are more personal and will help you get to know one another on a deeper level.
Hi, I'm Kalina, and this is the beginning of an experiment called Big Talk. I wanted to be able to go out, meet new people, and instead of just make small talk, actually have deeper, meaningful conversations with them. Kalina.
Get your hand on me. Yeah, come on.
What do I want to do before I die? Oh man, jeez.
That's a deep question.
Oh, or what do I want to do when I grow up? You mean job-wise?
That's a hard one.
Wow, that's a tough one.
Is it just one thing?
Wow.
want to learn how to scuba dive.
Travel the Appalachian Trail.
Go to the priest and make a confession.
I'd like to be a herpetologist, somebody who studies reptiles and amphibians.
See my kids graduate from college.
Make every moment count.
Live without any alcohol and drugs and big problems like that, and just be happy day by day.
Being able to reconcile with my father and say I love you to him.
I want to have a wife and kids. I wrote like an essay on it when I was in 5th grade, and I remember all my friends made fun of me because everyone was like, I want to be a sports star or a movie star, but just I want to have a wife and kids.
So forgiveness is a huge part of connecting with people by forgiving those who have done you wrong. It also grows your self-compassion by being able to forgive yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean you accept what someone did to you. Instead, you recognize that holding on to anger, guilt, or shame is not helpful for you. Forgiveness means to let go of baggage we carry from one friendship or relationship to another. When you forgive others, you create room for new and healthy relationships in your life. When you practice forgiving yourself, you can begin to grow self-worth and compassion. Unforgiveness has an enormous emotional and even physical impact on our lives. Studies show that forgiveness can increase your health, lower your risk for heart attacks, improve sleep, reduce pain, and decrease levels of anxiety, depression, and stress. When you decrease anxiety and stress, you're also more able to regulate your emotions, which we previously talked about. When you forgive, you don't change the past, you change the future. Forgiveness isn't something that just happens once. It can take many times to forgive someone or yourself and to move forward in life. So here's some steps for forgiveness. First, you can breathe, identify how you're feeling about the situation, recognize that holding on to this emotion is not good or healthy for you, and finally, let it go.
So some examples of resources available to you within the Gospel Mission are the caseworkers, the employees, the volunteers, and the pastor. Through speaking with these individuals, we have learned that they are open to discussing your mental health and your situations with them. In fact, they encourage that you do so. Many of these people have been in similar situations as yourself and have come out the other side, so they can relate to what you are going through. You can also look to your peers for support and friendship, as they can also relate to what you're experiencing. Some examples of resources available to you within Kelowna include social workers and counseling services, which your caseworkers can help connect you to. There are many foundations or services in Kelowna that strive to provide mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being of all people. These include the Kelowna Friendship Society, located on Leon Avenue. They promote Aboriginal culture and offer addiction counseling and other mental health programs to everyone. The Canadian Mental Health Association, located on the corner of Pandosy Street and Sutherland Avenue. They support individuals and family members that are experiencing mental health struggles and aim to provide housing and break the cycle of homelessness. The BC Schizophrenia Society, located on Leon Avenue as well. They offer programs and services that provide social support and education on schizophrenia and other serious mental illnesses. The Mental Health and Substance Use Services, located on Doyle Avenue, provides specialized treatment, education, and health promotion for mental health conditions and substance abuse. If you require urgent support, crisis phone lines are also available 24/7. They aren't only for people in crisis though. You can call them for information on local services or if you just need someone to talk to. The crisis line operators have received advanced training in mental health issues and addiction. The number you see here, 1-888-353-2273, is for the Interior Crisis Line.
So what resources would you recommend here at Kelowna Gospel Mission for men seeking mental wellness?
We always tell them that they can come talk to us. Most of us have either dealt with our own stuff. A lot of the staff here have gone through a journey of addiction ourselves and come out the other side and are in recovery. And we also can refer to the caseworkers. We refer quite a few of our individuals actually to Outreach Urban Health.
For addictions, it would be, I'd refer to an A&D counselor. And for addictions, for mental health, if I work with an Aboriginal and they're more comfortable working with Aboriginal, even though I'm Aboriginal myself, if they just want, so I refer them to Kelowna Friendship Center, right, Society. Detox is another one. You know, there's sometimes they reach out, they just want to get help. So I would suggest going to meetings, right? Like whether it's AA or NA or CA, whatever it is.
More and more the caseworkers have left their offices to go out and be in the dining area or in the car yard to be with our clients and connect.
I'm right here in the dining room, so when a fight breaks out, I'm right here. When if somebody wants to talk, all they got to do is knock on the door, because generally I'm here and we'll talk.
So is this like open to everyone that's staying here?
Yeah, it's open to people that are staying here, but it's also for anybody in the community that's low income or no income.
If you could give like one main piece of advice to the residents here for maintaining their mental health or like building mental health, what would you kind of give?
I believe in routine with my people, and some people don't. But not knowing what you're doing in the morning and not having a goal, I think makes people flounder a little bit. So when I work with people who come to me with nothing, I always assure them that let's just get this one goal met, and it'll feel better, and then we'll keep making the next goal.
I would say start by realizing that when we're looking at other people, we're looking at their highlight reel. We're looking at all their accomplishments. People don't put out what's negative about them on social media or when they're just talking to you for the first time. And realize that everybody's going through something and you don't know. And so instead of judging ourselves based on someone's highlight reel, we need to realize that everybody is in some kind of battle. Everybody's struggling with something. We get so caught up and so focused on everybody else's successes, and we get stuck in our own failures. So often as people we're very used to dwelling on what we didn't do right and what didn't work out and beating ourselves up for that. And so it's trying to reframe your mind on what did you do right, what do you do well, what are your strengths, instead of always focusing on your weaknesses.
There's never a person that doesn't deserve some humility, some, like a chance, because they're all hoping for better than what they've got. So
If I could give them one piece of advice, the first thing would be learn to see what's happening in front of you and learn that it's okay to turn and walk away from it. Learn to cut the chaos out of your life. If you have people that always have to have everything stirred up, walk away, because it'll just stir up your own emotions and everything else, and then you make bad decisions.
Thank you for listening to our presentation on mental wellness. We hope that you find some of these resources will help you in the future. We have created a pamphlet that includes all of the information from this presentation and the resources available to you. Don't forget to reach out to your social worker if you have any questions, and remember that you are never alone. We hope that you find some of the strategies we talked about useful and you are able to practice them to promote your mental health, self-esteem, social supports, and emotional regulation. We hope you have a great week, and thank you from the Okanagan College nursing students.